Hey friends, I'm back! Full circle, back to where we started. Today I'm going to be trying the medium tan tinted version of Australian Gold Botanical. This arrived in the mail yesterday. It was totally sold out when I was looking for it over a week ago. Here it is. It's here. When I originally bought it, I think there was just this one. It's supposed to be a universal tint sunscreen, SPF 50, but since they've come out with a line of different tints, including a light, medium, and dark. This one is a BB cream for medium to tan skin tones. BB cream, as I've found out, really just means that it's like a 3-in-1. It's a foundation, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen. So I never thought that I'd really come back to this product. Last time I reviewed the original, I actually said that I was probably going to throw it out. Well, I didn't throw it out. I have been using it still. You know, the color just wasn't right. So I would wear it when I wasn't planning on seeing anyone, just to not be wasteful. This sunscreen is marketed as fragrance-free, but as I've been saying in several videos, fragrance-free does not mean oil-free.
Fragrance-free does not mean oil-free.
I understand that it's a really popular sunscreen, mainly because of the price point, but also because some of its specs. It is really notable, and not a lot has changed from the original formulation other than the price. This one came in at $15.99, whereas the original one is somewhere between $9 and $10. It might be $9.99. So that's quite a big markup, considering that the ingredients are largely unchanged. Everything from the active sun protective ingredients to the antioxidants, all same ingredients. So I don't exactly understand the markup. It might just be a simple case of supply and demand. So same specs, it's an SPF tinted vegan reef safe sunscreen that is marketed as fragrance free. However, like I've been saying in several of my videos, fragrance-free does not mean unscented. So this product unfortunately does include eucalyptus oil, which is sensitizing potentially, right? And it does have a fragrance. It's an essential oil. So eucalyptus oil has been shown to have some antibacterial properties and some anti-inflammatory properties. However, there is a lack of scientific studies to really show its benefit for the skin, so I don't really see it as having anything other than a fragrant component in this sunscreen. Furthermore, there is some plum fruit extract, namely the Kakadu plum extract, which is an Australian fruit. I get it, it goes with their brand and whatnot. It has a high level of vitamin C, but it is somewhat fragrant, and you can definitely detect the fragrance from the sweet fruit in the sunscreen. Furthermore, it has red algae extract, which can be good for restoring the skin barrier, and it also provides a high level of antioxidants. So this is definitely marketed as an antioxidant-rich sunscreen. As we know, antioxidants can help protect from environmental factors like pollution and UV damage by really preventing free radical damage in the skin. Also, finally, like the original product, it has squalane, which is a hydrogenated form of squalene, which is naturally produced by the skin and found in human sebum on the face oil. It's an emollient, which means that it softens skin cells, and it also has moisturizing properties, and it also can act as an antioxidant. And it's also water resistant for 80 minutes, so it's a good option if you're going outside and going to be outside sweating for a while. You want something that's water resistant. So I totally get why people would want to try this product when they find it. But mainly, I wanted to use today to show you whether or not this darker tint would work on my skin, because as we saw with the original, that just simply was not the case. Let's get started. Okay, comes sealed. Definitely looks darker. It's a good sign. Similar consistency. There's this shea butter in here. I believe it still has shea butter. Yep. Shea butter, which is a moisturizer and gives it a thicker, more creamy consistency. And it's looking like a pretty good match right now for my skin. It's looking like a very good match so far. So unlike the original where you could see a lot of streaking when you put it on, especially for me because the color was obviously so wrong for me, this one you can barely see any streaks. So it's very simple for me to get this onto my skin, minimal effort. I did a light coat. This is a good method to apply sunscreens, especially mineral ones. Just do coats, let them semi-dry, and then go back in. So just making sure I have proper coverage. Of course, this one's an SPF 50, so it's always good to have a higher SPF in case you tend to skimp on your sunscreen. I try to be as thorough as possible. Of course, I love that it has more iron oxide to protect from hyperpigmentation, which is really important, especially for darker skin tones. All right, so it's on now, and I can have a good look at it. I definitely notice it looks like I'm wearing foundation, so just know that. I mean, it is a BB cream, so it's not a perfect match. It is slightly orange, and my natural skin tone does not have much orange undertones. So if you can see my beard area, I haven't applied it to my neck yet. The thing about tinted sunscreens though, I mean, this might be an exception because it is a BB cream, is that they're not really meant to be foundations like coverage. So that's why I'm okay with the tint not being a perfect match, because it's really just supposed to mask the white cast. But as I've noticed with so many mineral sunscreens, like they dry in a translucent kind of way, and then they just leave somewhat of a chalky cast. I mean, that's what a cast is. So when you have a slightly skin-colored tint, it masks that cast, but is not necessarily meant to be like a full coverage foundation. This one, on the other hand, I think is trying to be a foundation, and I just don't know how I feel about it. It does go on with the shine. I'm sure you can see that. It's not as shiny as the CeraVe, but it is kind of up there. Do a little more on my neck, just to be consistent. So yeah, I'm curious how it will dry down, and if this orange undertone will kind of soften. I wonder how well it covered up my post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So, you know, this is what it looks like right after application. And it's probably been like 5 minutes since I did my face. It's pretty good. It does seem to be calming down a little bit in terms of the oranginess. So again, like I said, I mean, it is a really cost-effective product that's water resistant and reef safe. So it's really a good option for the summertime, especially if you're planning on being outside a lot and sweating outside. We'll let you know though how it dries down. Maybe give it another 5 to 10 minutes and I'll check back in. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. So I'm back in the sun, just checking it out. So it still has this kind of orange undertone. If your skin does not have an orange undertone and someone is examining your skin with great attention, they're going to see something, especially if you aren't using it all over your entire face, like me, because I'm not going to put this in my facial hair. Kind of, you can tell if you're looking at it very closely, but if not, it's really not that alarming. I don't know. Something else I didn't mention is that this sunscreen is quite tacky feeling. I mean, that's subsided a little bit after giving it some time, but just from wearing the original brand, I know that you can definitely feel it on your skin for several hours, and that might not be comfortable to everyone, but you know, something that comes with, I think, you know, a water-resistant sunscreen that this one is 80 minutes or more. Just know that it does feel a little tacky. It is kind of drying because it has an aluminum ingredient there. I think it's alumina hydroxide. Let me see. No, just alumina. I mean, which is an aluminum ingredient. So it does tend to have a mattifying, drying effect, therefore can maybe possibly exacerbate fine lines, like on the forehead, for example, as it kind of dries in there. Overall, I think it's okay. I mean, it's not my favorite that I've tried for sure. I tend to prefer something that has a little shine to it so that I can have a healthy glow. In terms of the color, it's not bad. It's just these iron oxides have that kind of tendency to look a little orange. I don't know. One thing that I am a little bit hesitant to recommend, but I'm also semi-okay with it, is to actually blend these two together. Now, I should let you know this. You should never do this with two different products because they're formulated in a way to make sure that the ingredients are stable. There's a lot of commingling between ingredients, and when you start adding your own concoctions to the mix, it can totally degrade or cancel out everything that was in the original product. But because the ingredients in both of these products are identical, I might go ahead and do this, but I cannot recommend that you do it. Another alternative in a way that is suggested when you want to use multiple sunscreens at the same time is to layer them. So you could potentially use the darker one on the bottom and then go in with the light original one on top, and that might kind of subdue the oranginess of it all. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'll check back in a little later and say if anything has changed, but overall it is a little orange and drying, but it's a good option in terms of being water resistant, reef safe, SPF 50, all mineral, you know, the things I mentioned already before. So I understand why people like this a lot, and so I'm trying to give it a fair shot. Okay, I'm back, and it's been like 40 minutes since I last checked in. So not a whole lot has changed. It still kind of has that oranginess to it. So for me, I have to be really picky because of course I don't use it for my whole face. Therefore, if it's not transparent or not my exact skin color, you're going to see a harsh line where my facial hair starts, and so that's just not acceptable for me in public. I'll say that this is definitely aiming towards being more of a foundation for people. So if you do have an orange undertone to your skin, this could work well for you, especially if you have slightly darker skin like me. I think what I would have to do to continue to wear this is, like I said, mix it with the original version, which I want to reiterate is not recommended, and the only reason I'm comfortable doing this is because it's the same ingredients in both products and it's by the same manufacturer. The other thing I could do is just use less of this and go in with a pure mineral or even just a chemical sunscreen underneath it, and then use a touch of this just to get that iron oxide component, which is essential in terms of blocking out blue light, which can be really problematic for people with darker skin in terms of hyperpigmentation. I do want to continue my search for a good tinted sunscreen, although at this time my two favorites are the DRMTLGY Tinted and the Sunbum Tinted. The Sunbum Tinted is good because it's all mineral, so I do actually really prefer to use that on a daily basis at this time, and it also feels like you're wearing nothing. So this one still has its tackiness, like I mentioned before. Yeah, you definitely can feel like you're wearing something, especially around the eyes. It feels a little bit like tight. I don't know. Also, just like I said, it wears like a foundation, so you got to blend it in. While it has this weird like caking effect on the tip of my nose, and I don't know if it's picking it up, but just, you know, keep that in mind. And I will link this and the original in the description box, as well as some of my other favorite sunscreens and products that I use every single day. I hope this was helpful to you, and I'm glad that I got to try this since people have mentioned it to me that it'd be a good option, but unfortunately it's not like a perfect match for me, and I will continue to use it though. I'm not going to throw it out. I'll use it if I'm going outside alone. Hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you next time for whatever I'm doing next. Bye!